So today, lads, we are going to be doing a just recap on the Liberty versus Aces game. I know I'm obviously currently recording on a phone in like a landscape, and it's not the greatest quality or anything, but I do want to talk about the game because I do think it's quite important. But an interesting game. That's the word I will use to describe the game more so than anything. I'll say it was interesting. I thought the Aces do not look like a championship team. I'm going to be completely honest here. They just don't look like a championship team. I don't think they looked like a bad team. Like, the Liberty are really good. Like, don't get it twisted. The Liberty are really good. But it felt like the Aces, as much as anything, looked like a good team or a solid team. The Liberty looked like a good team. One thing I would be concerned a little bit about is how, if you're an Aces fan, is the team looking better when Aja was off the floor. Like, they lose by 10. They're +7 when she's off the floor. And that's been a trend for the season. And you might be saying, like, on-off numbers don't mean everything. And I agree, on-off numbers don't mean everything. But it's been a trend for the entire season. And the team has looked... I think the sample size has been too small per game to say it. But the team has looked better with Aja off the floor than Aja on the floor. That doesn't mean, like, down the stretch you don't want... Aja's not the best player. Doesn't mean that she's not the MVP or anything. But, like, it is a point of concern. At the best, it's a point of concern if you are the Vegas Aces. I thought Kelsey Plum was good for them. The problem, Chelsea Gray struggled, but the problem with Chelsea Gray is you can get moments of Chelsea Gray. She's hurt. She's hurt. Like, you could hear about like how many things she like setbacks she had from that foot injury. Like, the actual injury she had should have been like a 2-month injury. Problem is, she already had all the other stuff going on. She already was not the best movement wise. Chelsea Gray can't move. Like, we can have to call a spade. No, let's call it like it is. Say it like it is. I'm not using that phrase. Some people know why, but we gotta call it like it is. She is struggling moving, and while she can create her own shots sometimes in the mid range, she still can't create that three. Like, if you watch the 2022 WNBA playoffs, what she can do, she still can't do that right now. But when it comes to the Liberty, they're good. They're real good. Like, you've got Leni Fibic, 2 of 4 from 3, leads the team in plus minus. Guards Kelsey Plum. When she's on Kelsey Plum really struggles. Sabrina Ionescu, that 30-footer Sabrina hit to make it, I think, was it a 14-point game maybe? She hit a huge 3 when they got it back to 8 down the stretch. She had 2 big ones in like 3 or 4 possessions. I thought Sabrina went downhill a couple of times really well, especially late in that game. I did only catch the second half of the game, did not catch the first half. Like, Jonquel Jones seemed to be killing them the first half. And the problem was, like, in the second half, they didn't really go to Jonquel because, look, you're not going to just start attacking Aja Wilson. Even though I don't think Aja had the greatest defensive game. I stand by this. I think she is... I call her she's Joel Embiid. She's Joel Embiid. And on defense, you can even almost argue Hassan Whiteside. Good rim protector, not the best defender. I think she's got a lot of flaws on that end of the floor. But Breanna Stewart was clearly the best player on the floor for either team. Just her all-around game. She did start to miss a little bit down the stretch, but you could see she was getting good shots. She was hitting so many of them early. And she made a very nice cut, I think, was it when they got it back to 8 to make it 10. And every single time the Aces tried to bring it back, the Liberty had an answer. And that's the big difference between these teams, is the Liberty just had answers. For a coach as smart as Becky Hammon, I don't understand how the Aces are so bad in offense. Like, when Aja Wilson is on the floor, it's either Aja takes a shot or it's a bad shot most of the time. Like, this is a team where you've got Aja Wilson, Jackie Young, Kelsey Plum, Chelsea Gray, and Tiffany Hayes. And a lot of the time you've got no one taking a good shot. No one even in position to take a good shot. Aja Wilson doesn't shoot that many good shots. Like, she shoots a lot of like pull-up turnarounds. I liked down the stretch, if you are the Aces, I liked how Aja played down the stretch. Like, she looked like she was aggressive. She went downhill once to her left, which is the best thing about Aja Wilson, is when she's able to go downhill to her left, she chooses to shoot that midi. She hit 1 or 2 pull-ups. She stayed aggressive in the end. But it was effectively garbage time. You're down 10 with 3 minutes. You're getting 12 with 3 minutes to go, and then you start to be aggressive. Like, not a good showing from the Aces. I thought Jackie Young shot the ball poorly. And yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't like seeing GMPs for someone like a Megan Gustafson. I think Megan Gustafson's game, she can spread the floor. I think what she can allow Asia Wilson to do while not losing size, like, you don't want to put Alicia Clark on. You don't want to put her on Stewie for too long, which they have to do when they go small. The problem is the Aces have depth, they just don't use the depth. Like, they went realistically 7 deep. Like, you cannot like have someone like a Megan Gustafson and have them not in the rotation because they're such an effective player, because they can stretch the floor. They're big. Yes, is she foul prone? Yes, but she's got 5 to give. Playing 5-6 minutes, like, she's probably doing as good a job as Kia Stokes. And like, if you're only gonna play Kia Stokes 10 minutes, why have her play 10 minutes at all? If you get me, like, the way Kia Stokes is that her job is to basically make the game easier for Asia Wilson. But like, she's not playing. She's only playing 10 minutes. Then just don't play her at all. Like, Asia Wilson, this team is just not structured well. And it's so reliant on Asia Wilson giving you 30. And if she doesn't, I don't know how this team wins. But then if Asia doesn't play, the team looks equally as good. Like, they are so Asia-centric. Like, this is like, she's Joel Embiid. I know the Sixers suck this year without Joel Embiid, but I've seen years where the Sixers have looked equally as good without Joel Embiid on the floor, because he's just so ball dominant. His usage rate is so high, and that's the issue with Asia. But she's got to be aggressive. She's got to be aggressive if they want to have any chance, because the Liberty are just that good. And on the defense, like, but when it comes to the Liberty, even though they did cool off a bit, anytime they needed to make a play, they made a play. Whether it be Sabrina's huge 30-footer, whether it be, I think, like, Stewie made some nice kind of like pull-up shots, made a really nice backdoor cut. Whenever it looked like the Aces were going to come back, they just made the right play. They made a good play. And that's the difference between these two teams, is that one team, you've got 2, 3, 4 all-star level players in Phoebich, Sabrina, Jonquel, and Stewie, obviously. You've got 2 former MVPs. You've got Sabrina, who's likely going to be a future MVP. Like, there's going to be a guard to an MVP not named Caitlin Clark. In the next couple of years, it's going to be Sabrina Ionescu. And then you've got, like, obviously, I think Leonie Phoebich is an all-star level player who's playing like a role player, but she can be an all-star. When you've got those type of players who all fit into a system, who all play ball the right way, and you've got the Aces team, who you have Becky Hammond, who's a good offensive mind, you freaking protege of Pop, and all of a sudden their tactic is, if Asia can't drop 40, we're fucked. Like, really it's not great. And I think we're seeing it now. Like, the Aces almost lost to the Storm with Ezzy McMcGorr in game 1. This is a team that, when it comes down to it, wins games based on individual brilliance. They win games based on individual brilliance, not based on a system, not based on any style of play. They win games based on individual brilliance down the stretch. Whereas you've got the Liberty, who have a system, have a style of play, and have the individual brilliance as well, and are a better defensive team. Their team plays better defense. And then you've got the Aces, who play very little defense and just pray that Asia Wilson, you can funnel a player into Asia Wilson and she'll block a shot. When the reality is Asia doesn't play that much defense either. She just blocks shots. But anyway, yeah. That is the video. I'm sorry about this weird camera. Again, it's my birthday. I'm not going back to my setup, but I do want to record this. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.